The Valiant Little Tailor. One summer's morning, a little tailor was sitting on his table by the window. He was in good spirits and stood with all his might. Then came a peasant woman down the street crying, "Good jams, cheap! Good jams, cheap!" This rang pleasantly in the tailor's ears. He stretched his delicate head out of the window and called, "Come up here, dear woman. Here you will get rid of your goods." The woman came up in the 3 steps to the tailor with her heavy basket, and he made her unpack all the pots for him. He inspected each one, lifted it up, put his nose to it, and at length said, "The jam seems to be good, so weigh me out for 4 ounces, dear woman. And if it is a quarter of a pound, that is of no consequence." The woman, who had hoped to find a good sale, gave him what he desired, but went away quite angry and grumbling. "Now, this jam shall be blessed by God," cried the little tailor, "and give me health and strength." So he brought the bread out of the cupboard, cut himself a piece right across the loaf, and spread the jam over it. "This won't taste bitter," said he, "but I will just finish the jacket before I take a bite." He laid the bread near him, sewed on, and in his joy made bigger and bigger stitches. In the meantime, the smell of the sweet jam rose to where the flies were sitting in great numbers, and they were attracted and descended on it in hosts. "Hi! Who invited you?" said the little tailor, and drove the unbidden guests away. The flies, however, who understood no German, would not be turned away, but come back again in ever-increasing companies. The little tailor at last all his patience, and drew a piece of cloth from the hole under his work table, and saying, "Wait, and I will give it to you," struck it mercilessly on them. When he drew it away and counted where they lay before him, no fewer than 7 dead and with legs stretched out. "Are you a fellow of that sort?" said he, and could not help admiring his own bravery. "The whole town shall know of this." And the little tailor hastened to cut himself a girdle, stitched it, and embroidered it on large letters, 7 at one stroke. "What? The town," he continued, "the whole world shall hear it." And his heart wagged with joy like lamb's tail. The tailor put on the girdle and resolved to go forth into the world, because he thought his workshop was too small for his valor. Before he went away, he sought about in the house to see if there was anything which he could take with him. However, he found nothing but an old cheese, and that he put in his pockets. In front of the door he observed a bird which had caught itself in the thicket. They went on together, and as they passed a cherry tree, the giant laid hold of the top of the tree, where the ripest fruit was hanging, bent it down, gave it into the tailor's hand, and bade him eat. But the little tailor was much too weak to hold the tree, and when the giant let it go, it sprang back again, and the tailor was tossed into the air with it. When he had fallen down again without injury, the giant said, "What is this? Have you not strength enough to hold this weak twig?" "There is no lack of strength," answered the little tailor. "Do you think that could be anything to a man who has struck down 7 at one blow? I lived over the tree because the huntsmen are shooting down there in the thicket. Jump as I did if you can do it." The giant made the attempt, but he could not get over the tree, and remained hanging in the branches, so that in this also the tailor kept the upper hand. The giant said, "If you are such a valiant fellow, come with me into our cavern and spend the night with us." The tailor was willing and followed him. When they went into the cave, other giants were sitting there by the fire, and each of them had a roasted sheep in his hand and was eating it. The little tailor looked around and thought, "It is much more spacious here than in any of my workshop." The giant showed him a bed and said he was to lie down in it and sleep. The bed, however, was too big for the little tailor. He did not lie down on it, but crept into a corner. When it was midnight, and the giant thought that the little tailor was lying in a sound sleep, he got up, took a great iron bar, cut through the bed with one blow, and thought he had finished off the grasshopper for good. With the earliest dawn, the giants went into the forest and had quite forgotten the little tailor, when all at once he walked up to them quite merrily and boldly. The giants were terrified. They were afraid that he would strike them all dead, and run away in a great hurry. The little tailor went onwards, always following his own pointed nose. After he had walked for a long time, he came to the courtyard of a royal palace, and as he felt weary, he lay down on the grass and fell asleep. Whilst he lay there, the people came and inspected him on all sides, and read on his girdle, 7 at one stroke. "Ah," said they, "what does the great warrior want here in the midst of peace? He must be a mighty lord." They went and announced him to the king, and gave it as their opinion, and that if war should break out, this would be a weighty and useful man who ought on no account to be allowed to depart. The council pleased the king, and he sent one of his courtiers to the little tailor to offer him military service when he awoke. The ambassador remained standing by the sleeper, waited until he stretched his limbs and opened his eyes, and then conveyed to him his proposal. "For this very reason have I come here," the tailor replied. "I am ready to enter the king's service." He was therefore honorably received, and a special dwelling was assigned to him. The soldiers, however, were set against the little tailor, and wished him 1,000 miles away. "What is to be the end of this?" they said among themselves. "If we quarrel with him now, and he strikes about him, 7 of us will fall at every blow. None of us can stand against him." They came therefore to a decision, betook themselves in a body to the king, and begged for their dismissal. "We are not prepared," said they, "to stay with a man who kills 7 at one stroke." The king was so sorry for the sake of one he should lose all his faithful servants, wished that he had never set eyes on a tailor, and would willingly have been rid of him again. But he did not venture to give him dismissal, for he dreaded lest he should strike him all and his people dead, and place himself on the royal throne. He thought about it for a long time, and last found good counsel. He sent to the little tailor and caused him to be informed that as he was a great warrior, he had one request to make him. In a forest of his country lived 2 giants, who caused great mischief with their robbing, murdering, ravaging, and burning, and no one could approach them without putting himself in danger of death. If the tailor conquered and killed these 2 giants, he would give him his only daughter to wife, and half of his kingdom as a dowry. Likewise, 100 horsemen should go with him to assist him. "That would be it indeed be a fine thing for a man like me," thought the little tailor. "One is not offered a beautiful princess and half a kingdom every day of one's life." "Oh yes," he replied, "I will soon subdue the giants, and do not require the help of the 100 horsemen to do it. He who can hit 7 with 1 blow has no need to be afraid of 2."
The little tailor went forth, and the 100 horsemen followed him. When he came to the outskirts of the forest, they said to the followers, "Just that waiting here, I alone will soon find out of the game." That he bounded into the forest and looked about right and left. After a while, he surveyed both game. They that lay sleeping under a tree, and sooner so that the branches swayed up down. That little tailor is not idly greeted to the pocket full of stone. And when this the climbed up the tree, when it was halfway up, he slipped down that branches until just above the sleeper, and then let one of stone after another fall on the breast of that tree. For a long time that he felt nothing, but at the last the awoke, pushed his comrade, and said, "Why you are sucking me? You must the dreaming." The said other, "I am the snacking you." They let themselves down the sleep again, and the tailor threw the stone down the second. "What is that meaning of this?" cried the other way. "Why are you splanting me?" "I am not splanting you," answered the first, growling. They stappled about the fourth time, but as they went weary that let the matter rest, and their eyes closed once more. The little tailor began his the game again, picked out at the biggest stone, threw the with all might on the breast on the first game that the tobad prayed be, and spat you up like the madman, and pushed compassion against the tree until the sock. The other paid him back into the same coin, and they got into the rage that the tore up trees, and the belly bored each other so long that the last day both fell down dead on the ground at the same time. The little tailor stepped down into Lucky's things, said that they that did not tears at the tree which is setting, or I should have so time spent on other like current. But with Taylor are nimble. He drew out the crowd sword, give the each of the couple thrust abreast, and then went out the horseman. Said, work is done. Have finished both out the off. But I was hard work. The tore up there is their sore need. And defend. Man like myself come up can skill. Seven up at one below. But are not wounded? Asked the horseman. You are needed concern yourself, that answered the tailor. They have not spent one hair of mine. That the horseman would be believe him and rode into the forest. There is the fountain eight swimming there in blood. All round about lay the torn up dress. The little tailor demand of the king promised rewards. He whatever represented the promise, and Achan brought himself. How to could get rid
It
hero
had to go into
before
his
you
pocket with the
receive
cheese.
my daughter,
Now, he
and the
took to the
half
road
of
boldly,
my
and as he
kingdom.
was light and nimble,
Said
he felt no
unto
fatigue.
him, you
The
must
road led him
perform
up a mountain,
one
and
more.
when he had reached the highest point of it,
Hercules
there sat a
in the
powerful
forest,
giant
look
looking
is
peacefully about him.
unicorn which
The little
does
tailor
great
went
harm,
bravely up, spoke
and
to
you
him, and
must
said,
watch
"Good
its
day,
first.
comrade.
For it
So you
the
are sitting there
unicorn,
overlooking the widespread
till
world.
lest
I am
that
just on my
you
way
gain
thither, and
heaven
want to try my
again.
luck. Have you
Is the kind
any
of
inclination to
offer.
go with me?"
He
The
took
giant looked
a
contemptuously at the
rope
tailor and
and
said,
the axe
"You
with
ragamuffin, you
him.
miserable
The
creature."
went
"Oh,
forth into
indeed,"
the
answered the
forest,
tailor,
and
and
again
unbuttoned
came.
his coat and showed the giant the
Those who
girdle.
were sent
"Dare
with
me, you read
him
what
to
kind of a
wait
man I
outside.
am." The giant
He
read
had
7 at
not
once
long
choked
to seek.
and thought
The
that they had
unicorn
been men whom the
saw
tailor had killed and began
come
to feel a
towards
little
him,
respect for the tiny
and the
fellow.
rust directly
Nevertheless,
on the
he wished to try
surface,
him first and took a stone in his
as
hand and
if
squeezed
he
it together so that water
could
dropped
gore
out of it.
him
"Do that
when
likewise," said the
its
giant.
horn
"If you have
without more
strength, is that all?" said the tailor.
something healthy.
"That is child's play
This
with
had
us,"
to
and
be
put his
done
hand into his
instantly,
pocket, brought
and
out the soft
then that
cheese and
set
pressed it
his
until
food till
the liquid
and
ran out of
wanted
it.
on the animal. What a
"Fate,"
cute
said he.
flute.
That was a little
And they
better,
sprang
wasn't it? The
trembling
giant did not know what to
behind the
say and could
tree.
not believe
The
it
unicorn
of the little
ran
man.
ahead the
Then the
tree
giant picked up
when
a stone and threw it
all the
so high that the
strength
eye could
and
scarcely
craft
follow it.
form was
"Now, little
in
mite
the
of a
trunk
man,
that
do that
had
likewise,
had
well
the strength
thrown,"
enough
said the
to
tailor.
throw it
But after
again.
all, the stone came down
And
to earth
first
again. "I will show
is
you one which
what
shall
will
never
not.
come back at
I
all."
have
And he put his
had
hand into his
that
pocket,
bird, said
took out
trader,
the bird,
and
and threw it
come
into the
up
air.
again
The
tree.
bird, delighted with its
But the
liberty,
ropes
rose, flew
around the
away, and
neck
did not come
and the
back.
with the
"How does that
axe,
shot please you,
he
comrade?"
blew the
asked the
horn
tailor.
out the
"You can
tree.
certainly throw," said the giant. "But now
And
we will
you
see if you are
all
able to
when
carry anything
he
properly."
brings away
He
the
took the little
children.
tailor to a mighty oak tree which lay there, folded on the ground, and
The
said, "If you are strong
king
enough,
would
help me
not
to
give
carry that tree
him
out
the
of the
promised
forest."
reward,
"Readily,"
and the
answered the little
king
man.
uttered
"Take
this.
you the trunk on your
Before the
shoulders, and I will raise
when
up
the
the branches
traitor
and twigs.
was the
After
trunk
all, they are
him
the
in one
heaviest."
bore.
The
That
giant
great
took the
quick
trunk on his
havoc
shoulder, but the tailor
in
seated
their slaughter.
himself on a branch.
And the
And the giant, who could not
huntsman
look round, had to
could
carry away
give
the whole tree and the little
him
tailor
their
to the
son.
bargain. He
Willingly,
behind was
said the
quite merry and
tailor.
happy, and whistled the
Such the
song.
child play,
Three
it
tailors
would
round
not
and forth, front
take
the
the
gate, as if
huntsman.
crying the tree were child's
When they
play.
hit the forest,
The giant, after
and
he
they
had
were
dragged the heavy
well
burden part of the way,
distant, that
could go
let
no
tree.
further, and cried,
For the
"Hark
willing
you, I shall have the let tree the
for
fall."
had several
The
times
tailor sprang
received.
nimbly down, seized the tree with both
Then
arms,
it did
as if he had
matter
been carrying
that
it,
they
and
had
said to the giant, "You are such a great fellow, and yet
expectation
you cannot even
to
carry the
lie.
tree."
It wait for him. When the boar received the tailor, it ran on the foaming mount, wanted to stop, and was about to throw him to the ground. But the hero fled, sprang into chapel. Was there is was near up the window at once, and in the one band out again. Third boy ran after him, but the trailer ran around outside and shut the door behind. It is that raging beast, which is what most highway and awkwardly of out the window. What's true, the little trailer called that huntsman threatened that they is made the prisoner with their own eyes. Their hero, however, went to King, who was not now, whether that life is not obligated to keep his promise. To give the daughter and the half he is the king, and had the note that was warily heard but the little trailer who that standing before him. It could have one gone his heart and more dead. The wedding was held with great magnificence, that small joy, and out of trailer of the king made. After some time, that young queen had her husband say is the dream at night. Boy, make me the doublet and match at pantaloons, or else I will strap that yard measure over your eyes. Then she discovered in what state of life the young lord that been born, that next the morning complained at the wrong to the father gave him to help to get rid that husband. What is who has nothing else but the trailer? The king comforted her and said, leave your bedroom door open the night, and the servant shall stand out. And when he has fallen asleep, shall go in, bend him, and take him on board, a slave which shall carry him into the wide world. The woman was satisfied with this, but the king or more bearer, who had heard all, was the friendly friend, you young lord, that informed him to the whole plot. It's put through and the business, said the trailer at night. He went that when the wife that usual time. And when the two that had fallen asleep, she got up, opened the door, and they lay down again. The little trailer, who can only pretend to sleep, began to carry out the clear voice. Boys, make me the doublet and patch me the pantaloons, or we'll wrap the yard measure over your ears. I smote 7 at one blow. I killed 2 gain. I brought away the unicorn and shoot a wild boar. And I ham to fear those who standing outside the room. When these men heard the trailer speaking, they were overcome by the great dread, and the run Israel Huntman went behind them, and none of the word venture anything further against him. So the little trailer was remained and a king to the end of life.